What? No previously on? Do you really expect me to remember this show almost 7 years after the last episode aired? And yes, for all intents and purposes, this is the same show, and yes, we would have sent a previously on too. Also, the nerve of Marvel to try to sell us on the return of this beloved show while simultaneously telling us this is season 1.
Still, the city finds other ways to protect itself.
Can't believe that after 7 years of waiting, the gang's back together. 9 entire episodes of my favorite trio. Yep, 9 episodes. Looking forward to all 3 of them in all 9 episodes. Yes, sirree. Yep, all 3 for all 9. Yeah?
Well, we could just get out of here.
You and me? Yeah. Sounds nice. Although, I think that's a distinct violation of the Friends Code.
Trying to defeat everyone's boner with cross-examination.
You're gonna miss this
Am I? Daredevil, White Tiger, they're the future. We're obsolete.
I want to like you, Cherry, but what you said is f***ing insane. Even if you think that the police are obsolete, is relying on vigilantes a sign of progress in the criminal justice system?
You get soft in public service.
Title of my sex tape?
I have learned ninja moves at my time at NM&P.
The ankle bracelet I had to wear through March and April of 2012 would like you to know that ninja moves are frowned upon in a court of law. Bullseye must also operate under the alias of bullshit, because that is what I would call picking a door lock without a tension wrench, makeshift or otherwise. Insecticide.
What? Why didn't you tell me about the threats?
Contrivance, mostly. Daredevil stops in front of this cathedral for a photo op, as if he knows the camera is there.
Foggy, he wanted to know where you were. I'm sorry.
Bullseye, for some reason, needs to interrogate Benny for Foggy's location. When he could have just waited, he would have to go home eventually. And another benefit of doing a stakeout on a roof near Foggy's apartment is that you don't alert Daredevil.
Benny? Benny?
Benny without the jets?
He said someone was
Foggy! Great, now we'll never know who someone was looking for.
Hello, Karen.
You can't tell if the script has Bullseye not immediately shoot Karen because he remembers her or because he can't line up the shot due to the smoke grenades he's been throwing around like an asshole. But why did he choose to come all the way down here from his perch instead of sniping her from wherever he was when he shot Foggy? Here's a lesson in dumbassery. Notice these bar patrons, smart enough to see Daredevil fighting a gunman and turn around to find the fire exit. This dude, dumb enough to risk being knifed by the killer as he crawls towards the front door. This scene uses smoke grenades like a high school punk band uses distortion. You keep telling yourself that chaos and confusion are your aesthetic when we all know it's just there to cover up for your mistakes. Everyone in this room woke up today and chose to be collateral damage. Never mind the fact that they had all the time in the world to find an exit during the camera's slow track from the front door to the back of the bar. Even when Bullseye is temporarily incapacitated, they just stand around looking at each other calculating the odds of surviving a pool ball to the head. I won't lie, I've missed this show. The long, single-shot fight scenes, Bullseye using random household items as weapons, and people actually getting tired from the non-stop fighting. I'd actually give it a send off if the rest of the episode wasn't about Daredevil not wanting to be cool anymore. No.
No, come on,
Bringing back a fan-favorite character just to kill him within the first 15 minutes of the first episode. Bullseye survives this. Hero takes off their mask as a symbolic representation of them giving up cliché. Glittering. Having your intro credits 16 minutes plus into your episode. At that point, it's not even an intro. It's just a commercial break. Episode skips all the sometimes so it can show that the main character is still in pain and needs to overcome that pain so they can be even more of a main character.
The recall election is heating up with a field of no less than 15 candidates, including 2 former city council members and a stand-up comedian.
Writers could have included a very specific YouTube-based peddler of TV nitpickery in the field of candidates, but chose violence instead. Also, news position. The pee that comes out of you when all you eat is an egg white omelet and asparagus. Also, trying to make me lose my breakfast in your reveal of someone else's breakfast.
You left the bed I sat beside for months while you recovered.
Yep, and he ran off to Oklahoma. F***ing Oklahoma.
Hi, I'm BB Urick. Can I ask you some questions?
Hi, BB. Let me ask you something. Don't you know On the Street Regular Joe interviews position went out of style like 10 years ago and has since resurrected itself in the form of Riz position?
Have you heard from her?
I expected lawyers to be clinical with their specificity and be above the pronoun game. Karen walks in right as Matt is making his emotional appeal on the stand. It's so convenient, I don't know how the next scene isn't Matt in the confessional asking if God has a vendetta against him.
It won't be served because I don't get to see him again.
You do mean hear him again, right? Just clarifying.
Killed on the whim of a violent and disturbed man. A self-styled assassin with a grudge, out to murder his perceived enemies.
Which is why him killing Foggy specifically makes no sense. If we're going off of the last season of the original Daredevil, besides him being in jail, there are a ton of other people he should have been gunning for instead.
San Francisco's nice. It's different from New York. Not too different.
Moving to Ant-Man territory and calling it not too different from Spider-Man territory. It's a completely different insect man.
I refuse to believe that a tragedy had to destroy everything.
I don't think Matt knows what the word tragedy means.
I made a promise to myself that I'd let the system handle it.
Making me the asshole for wanting him to break that promise.
I found this at Josie's. I thought you might want it.
Confessing to stealing evidence in a courthouse surrounded by law enforcement.
I mean, Mayor Fisk. That's the coolest thing on the planet.
You live on a planet often visited by superpowered aliens, including an entire nation of interdimensional Nordic peoples. But a criminal being elected mayor is the coolest thing on the planet? If you're gonna suck up, at least make your comparisons plausible. Thinking the government is something that deserves the same treatment as one of 007's martinis. Social interaction.
I am gonna kill Kirsten.
Oh, please do. For both of us.
Conspiracy to commit murder.
You've been to Queens lately?
Yeah, only for Sal, Chris, and Charlie's.
The lawyer from the kitchen's got good taste in sandwiches.
Look, I get it. New York has great food, and I am but a lowly peasant out on the fringes of the empire who can only aspire to make pilgrimage to the famed alabaster paved streets of Astoria to perchance have a large and worthy hero grace mine lips. So I must humbly ask that if you must name drop a delicious sandwich, could you actually show me the f***ing sandwich?
Where did you go to high school?
Xavier?
Fading the audio out won't protect you from this. Skip.
Friend, you can need a little something, something if you know what I mean. And so does she.
No, I don't know what you mean.
What kind of loser doesn't know what she means? I, for one, definitely and without a doubt know exactly what she means and agree that some things from time to time are needed.
I'm not having this conversation with you.
Saying you aren't having this conversation and then continuing to have the exact same conversation.
You ask me, that's pretty goddamn cynical, man.
Being surprised that the man who spent years pummeling criminals in the shadows isn't a magical unicorn optimist.
Your step is lighter.
What a nice way of saying you're less fat.
I tried to mentor someone, but...
Confusing mentoring with murdering. You tried to murder Maya Lopez.
Let's say I followed a road less traveled.
Yep, you Robert Frosted your way through 2 Marvel TV series before getting back to Daredevil where you belong.
New York's what it's always been.
Matt acts like Sal, Chris, and Charlie's didn't open in 1987, that the rent wasn't just high instead of too damn high, and that they didn't have a whole street full of shows dedicated to peeping.
And despite the good that I was doing, I was causing damage.
Show gives the only responsible and honest response to superheroes while cashing in on the knowledge that I want him back in the red suit, beating the shit out of people with billy clubs.
That's my secret. I like to set the bar low.
My secret makes it into the episode. Also, this is his second date of the episode. Third if you count the bar scene with Karen. What kind of superhero show is this? So the show is making some pretty clear political parallels with the real world. The problem with this is that it can undercut any sort of recontextualization, which would allow viewers more freedom to process ideas in an unbiased manner without having to constantly measure what they're seeing against their own ideologies, thereby opening the door to reinterpretation and critical examination. Oh, what happened? I blacked out.
My fellow citizens.
Spectrum.
You can't carry the weight of a city on your shoulders.
Matt's mandate as Devil of Hell's Kitchen gets lost in the shuffle. A full 96 seconds of Fisk and Murdoch staring into random space, but it's cut as if they're looking at each other to really sell the budding bromance that will no doubt fill out the rest of the season.
I can't remember why I needed the blood.
How exactly are you stashing people?
Beautiful, super awesome, sexy stash house.
I make this look good.
Run the ball, go!
I can see my house from here!
So you're from Queens, huh?
How did you know?
Brooklyn.
Maybe New York's getting the mayor it deserves.
But not the one it needs right now.
Well, I'll admit it's not entirely unpleasant to see you again.
Look at us. Hey, look at us. Look at us. Huh? Who would have thought?
Not me.